Hey guys, Billp here from BP3 Crypto on BP3TV. And just a quick reminder that this is educational advice only and not investing advice. So with that, how's everybody doing? I hope you are good wherever you are in your neck of the woods. We're going to take a quick look at the market, and then we're going to talk about a couple of things that are interest to me. So I'm going to just go over consensus and just give a little summary of what I think consensus meant to me, or what I think I see coming out of it, and talk a little bit about just cryptocurrency in general in relation to becoming a standard of payment. So like say maybe we've heard, oh, Bitcoin should be the standard of payment for the internet. Okay, so let's look at a couple issues with current cryptocurrency right now and in regards to standard of payment. And then also interesting to see what cryptocurrency is doing. We've heard about Venezuela and the petro. There's a new story on the front lines with Iran, and Iran dropping the US dollar. So we'll talk about that. And there's just a couple of the coins that I want to throw out there that you guys should pick up and replay and then do a little listing. So how you doing? It is, let's see, today is Friday, May 18th. And it's been a little while since I made a post. Nothing happening or anything like that in my life that's pertinent or anything that caused me not to, but just took a little bit of time off. I was very, very busy with work and life and just catching up with things. I've been actively researching and I've been monitoring the market. I've been doing a little bit of day trading. I was doing a little day trading until the market kind of slowed down. Have some miners that are up and running and have some more miners that are coming online. And I am thinking about jumping into another project with miners just to give me some residual income. But by all means, I have not become disinterested or disheartened or any way, shape, or form negative about cryptocurrency. Okay, I am still all in, guys. Still all in. With that, let's take a quick look at the market here. Let's bring me down a little bit. All right, there we go. So we just look at the top up here. Take a look at it with me, folks. The market capitalization, 3.5. We were doing pretty good there for a little while, and we were pushing 4. Let's take a look at what we got. But you know what I don't like? I don't like to see that number 2 in front, right? That 2 is not cool, right? Not at all. I love it how they always show us the year when we jump on a market cap. I mean, it's a pretty picture and all, but that is not what we are so worried about. Anyway, so what do we got here? So like I said before, we were at 375. So there we are, 375. And you can see what's this back into the beginning of today and then yesterday. So the beginning of yesterday, 388. When did we fall off that 4? Looks like we fell off that 4 right about here. Tough to say exactly there, but just a little bit over. And that was the 15th, just at about the midday of the 15th. 16th, 17th, 18th. What did I say? It's 18th. So 3 days ago, we fell off our 400. 375, not too bad. It kind of dipped down here a little bit, you can see, but not really overall movement there in the market capitalization to make us worry about. We want it to continue to grow. We like it being in the 400s like it was, but we're not freaking out yet. Not at all. All right, so there we go, right in the first spot. Like usual, we have Bitcoin. It's priced at 82, and if we take a look at the change in the last 24 hours, it's gone up. But I want to show you something here that I learned. For some reason, if I go to this thing here, view all, and I just noticed this today. See if my face pops back up there. But check it out. When I go to cryptocurrencies, view all, instead of just the top 100, we lose that little chart, and we get a couple of things that are more interesting to me. You see over here, okay, let's start with Bitcoin, right? We have the symbol, market cap, the price, circulating supply, the volume in 24 hours. And that's an important number to keep an eye on too, volume in 24 hours. But look at the percentage change in 1 hour, in 24 hours, and in 7 days. Having that right there in front of me when I'm just looking for a general picture on something like, how's the market doing right now? How's Bitcoin doing? How's Ethereum doing? It's those numbers over a period of time that I want to compare. I mean, the current rolling 24 hour, if we do this, how would a pretty little picture go? There we are. But look, back to the top 100, and we lose that stuff there. So I really did a remake on CoinMarketCap, but yeah, so view all coins and tokens. I guess that's what they mean by all. But here we go. Got it back again. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see me, though. I don't know why I'm not following over. Oh, a lot of lag. Anyway, Bitcoin, 82.44. And we can see that we've had in the last 24 hours a 2.5% increase, but we're still down over the week. Now, I was taking a good look at the charts, and especially Bitcoin being the leader, we're starting to see a couple of things. We're starting to see our daily starting to come into our favor, and we're trying to reconfirm it with a 4-hour and the hourly. But it looks like, if the daily is not on an upswing, it's much harder to make a profit. You end up having to ride the line a little bit too much, and it's easy to burn through some things, the funds through stop losses, or get yourself caught in a position and then have to cost average yourself out of that position. Not cool, not fun. It's a better way to just sit on some of your investments and do your research and tidy things up and update your wallets and all that kind of stuff like that. All your general maintenance that you should be doing and all your research and stuff and your education when we're in moments like this, while keeping a keen eye, on the big three, like Coin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, if you're thinking about day trading through GDAX. But don't enter any kind of like day trades with some kind of hopes of, grandeur or whatever like that, instant riches. Wow, I can do this. I mean, you can do a lot. You can make a lot through it, but you need to learn about it. You can get a hold of myself or my buddy Chip, and we can kind of give you a little rundown, but it's a good way to be more involved in the market. And it seems like that you have a little bit more you do have more of immediate control than just hodling. But by all means, it's not something that is bulletproof or recommended or anything like that. Although I was able to make some good use of my time and pick up a bunch of cash during a time when things weren't really moving. And we are just about getting into that optimal positive market generalization for day trading. Keep an eye on it, folks. But anyway, as you can see, right, 7-day, 24-hour, and the one. So something I do want to point out is using Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin in GDAX to do some day trading. We've been finding out that, Bitcoin does those crazy jumps, and Litecoin's got that low cost of entry, but Ethereum has been where it's at. I mean, the price 693, you might say, oh, it's not so good, Bill. But it's not so much to play. So let's take a look at it. Let's see if I can import you guys over here to Coinology. I apologize with all the lag. I do not know why. I mean, there's a lot of devices always going on around here, but this is going to show up. My little bubble just said, I love your look today. All right, so what I have going on here, I've got a couple things saved. Let's get rid of this data, first of all. And we're also going to bring me down a little bit. You need to understand, listen. and comment. That's what you guys need to do. All right, let me load one of my pre-things. So if you guys use Coinology or TradingView, it really works out good. When you get something worked out, you can save your layout for your chart, and then bam. And there's a couple of things that I need to do that I didn't do before I saved it. Bring these guys down a little bit. And I think things should be a little bit bigger. Yeah, now I'm talking, right? Let's jump up the color on these guys. Sorry why you bear with me, but you can see a little bit of the inner workings of Coinology here. Bring this one up, I bring this one up, and bring that one up. Alrighty. Here we go. All right, there we go. It's a little cleaner there. So this is only in the last 3 days, okay? And we all know in the last 3 days, I mean, our market has not been jumping around doing that good. But if we switch over here to Ethereum, and we put it like, say, on 1 week. Okay, jumping out there on 1 week, you can see a little bit of my buy and sells right here. But there was a couple of other ways. So in the past week, all right, we've seen the price drop and even hitting a low of 640. But you can see what's been happening here. We're up here high, looking at the beginning of the chart, my little thumb, and then down. So that's a buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, which I caught there, sell, which I sold pretty quick. But, you know, hey, sometimes you get what you can get. But look at this. Then we had a correction, all right? Okay, 11th, 12th, not such a hot day. After that, 13th, 14th, 15th. She goes up, she goes down, 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 she goes up, she goes down. I mean, you get the picture here, right? Perfect opportunity for something like this. And if we take it back out into the 3-day, you can see that Ethereum was doing very well. I mean, up and down, but holding its steady price increase, right? Then we had that recent correction here, just before midnight. So I guess last night. But then you can see up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, but following the moving averages and having a steady path back up. We can't say that much for the same for Litecoin or for Bitcoin. Ethereum really has been out of the big three. I mean, look at Litecoin here. I mean, it tries everything. No, it didn't do too bad today, actually. Hey, good job for Litecoin. But Ethereum has been the in and out moneymaker. It's had the steady flow. But honestly, folks, this market is not in a position right here to willy-nilly throw money around. I'll show you one more thing. So we take Bitcoin and we break it out to the daily. You know what? All right, there we go. Oh, jeez, sorry. All right. Okay, we got the daily, right? We had a nice climb of the daily, right? So all through here, all right, so that was what, like after the first week of April into about the first week of May. We had a really good time there. And you can see on the daily, we maintained higher lows, higher highs all the way across, and we stayed above the moving average. You can see just the opposite here. We're not showing anything positive on the daily. We have an inside breaking bar, okay, the green, and then we have a higher low that's starting to form. All right, that's really cool. If we continue to go up and form another higher low and up and form another low, break these moving averages, we might find ourselves on top and in a different situation, a different market where it will be balls to the walls, right, with the Litecoin, Ethereum, and the Bitcoin. And when it does start to move, guys, I have a feeling it's going to move pretty quick. I mean, market got really excited here when things went up just a few weeks ago. But you know, we've had so much downturn. Lots of excitement through here. So we're hoping that the same thing can continue, right? We want to see follow through on more specific charts. So there's on the hourly. What are we showing here in the 4 hour? So you can see on the 4 hour chart, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of price increase, and then we do have the bears put in a little post on there, but like you can take a look at it. I should make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so on the 4 hour chart, it looks like we had our higher low established. We're not quite yet above those moving averages, though. And I could bring us into the hourly, but that's not going to do anything for major decisions, but looks pretty good, right? Hourly chart's looking pretty good. 4 hour is not quite there, and daily is not quite there, but these are the signs that we're looking for. It's a nice looking hourly chart, and it broke above the moving average. So let's keep an eye on Bitcoin. Looking good on the daily, looking good on the 4 hour. So, I mean, looking good on the 1 hour, starting to show up on the daily. I mean, the looking good on the 1 hour, starting to show up in the 4 hours, and keeping an eye on the daily for the return, for the reversal in trend from bear to bull. Fingers crossed, folks. Fingers crossed. Okay. Brings us into the market. I know I rambled on a little bit about that, but there's a few other things we want to go over. weird. I don't know. Hopefully I'm out there somewhere. Anyway, wanted to talk about consensus. Consensus 2008. You know what? Might be right here. Okay, I'm back. Alrighty. Hey, look, we got two of these right there. Ah! Okay, Consensus 2008, CoinDesk. CoinDesk is proud to present our 4th annual Blockchain Technology Summit, May 14th to the 16th. So 14, 15, and the 16th. So just finished, all right? What are we at? Today is Friday, the 19th. So it's been over for 3 days. But it wasn't just a single conference. Consensus wasn't the only thing going on in New York. We had the Crypto Influence Awards last night, or was that today? Maybe even today. But many, many, many other conferences and many other meetings and meetups and many other products, information that was disseminated throughout the course of a week. Consensus being the anchor or the cornerstone. So here's what we're hearing. Consensus 2018, it sucked. Here's why. Let's see what we got. I've listened to a few videos on this, and I do agree. To some point, but let's see what somebody else has to say, and then I'll tell you what I think. Hope you're still hanging. Going for a little while here. I'll wrap it up pretty soon. But okay, so this is from Korgaijo. I mean, it stinks sometimes. You get all these kind of things. I mean, BP3 crypto, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. Billp Tapowitz. But anyway. All right. I went to Consensus this week, and it sucked. By far the worst crypto conference I've been to. It was fine. Here's why the conference actually sucked. Talks were superficial, and they did not seem to know where the audience was. Sorry, folks. Normies are gone. Speak to your core enthusiasts. The whole presentation vibe was, well, let's bend over backwards for the bankers and discuss how we're going to do it. I get it. It's in New York City, but come on. If the suits are here, let's discuss using their money to lobby changes in favor of crypto instead of shorting the market. Presenters rehashed cliche after cliche. Much 90% of the IOs will fail, ICOs will fail, blah, 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 blah. Not to mention how disorganized it was and embarrassing for crypto. Ugh, what I got here. So check it out, right? I've heard the same from a couple other sources. Consensus is a industry conference. It's in its 4th year. So in the cryptocurrency world, it's quite old, right? And it meets in New York. Traditionally, I mean, they joke that, up until this year, everybody would always be running around jeans and a t-shirt. So traditionally, it was like your core enthusiasts that met. And then as technology started to develop and we started to have some of these teams, more and more ideas could be discussed, alliances could be made. There were, even up until last year, there were some pretty big deals made in back rooms and things were announced. So what has happened is it's given our cryptocurrency industry a place for it to get together, make these decisions, make these connections and stuff like that. And in the past, this has caused a rise in our market during the conference week, but also a healthy rise in the market in weeks that follow. We didn't see much of a rise this week in the market. As a matter of fact, we saw just the opposite, right? Right down. But I do believe that we will see a rise in our market in general over the next couple of weeks. I mean, there's lots of reasons. The market's ready. The charts are showing this, that the adoption is coming up and up and up. But I think consensus is good for in conferences like this. Now, last year they had 2,000 people at Consensus. They doubled that, and they had sold over 4,000 tickets at $2,000 a piece. So this is a pretty big money revenue generating event, and they spend, if not all that money, most of that money on putting the event on. It's pretty top notch. But they dropped the ball this year. Okay, so we can't control whether the psychology of the investors out there is going to react positively or negatively to a conference. Now, as we believed in the past with the good news, we would see some good pops and stuff like that. But it didn't happen. Okay, right? Blah, forget about it. Here's what did happen. Many people attended the conference from money, okay? Whether that be big money themselves, corporations, hedge funds, groups of individuals. Now, these are people that invest in companies, invest in the stock market, and use their money to make things happen, use their money as a tool, and then in turn, it ends up making more money for themselves. So it was a joke going on around that everybody was in their t-shirts years ago, and now everybody's in their suits. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, the big money is coming in. Some regulation is coming in. These are things that are going to have to happen. So let's take a look at this and see what it does for us. Big money comes to our conference. They learn about a lot of things, opens up their eyes. They may not have concrete ideas or relationships worked out when they leave, but they do have a better understanding for blockchain. They totally know about the value of a currency. So it's not going to take long for these guys to blah, 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 all excited, and gals back at their offices. And we should see decisions being made for more and more institutions and groups and larger investments coming into the place because of consensus. That's what I believe. Billp was just some educational advice, right? The market is also poised to go up. I mean, there are definitely many, many signs. I mean, we've been waiting for Litecoin so long. It's just ready to pop, right? But no, seriously, folks, there are a lot of key factors that are just looking up. And I think that the talk and stuff like that around the water cooler is totally going to help. Consensus is and was a good thing. It may have looked a little embarrassing being unprepared as an industry and being that we're on the cutting edge of technology. There were reports that they could have done a lot better on that side, presentation, organization side. I've done a lot of these conferences as attendee and as putting them on. I can see where some of these problems can go, but I could also see how they could be fixed, right? Anyway, enough about consensus. I want to talk about one more thing. And it has to do with money, right? Of course it does. Let's see if I can get a search here without losing me. Iran leaves the dollar for the euro. All right, did you hear me mumbling that out? Let's see. Let's find something. So we'll go with Forbes. Not that I believe it's 100% unbiased, but at least it's generally accurate, and it is currently accepted by a lot of them. Hopefully this is going to let us do it. Anyway, so let me talk a little bit about that. What's going on here? Okay. Well, real quick, right? And then we'll go through the article. Iran. Okay, the world has had the US dollar as the reserve currency. Okay. And to get that to happen, we've cut a lot of deals and stuff like that. For example, Saudi Arabia, right? Just went there recently. Cool place. But it does have its fundamental problems, right? It has its barbaric enforcement of law. It has the discrepancy with males and females, as well as discrepancy amongst royalty and not royalty. Some of these things are not cool, okay? But we do business with Saudi Arabia. I mean, I went there with my American company a couple weeks ago. So why is it that we are cool with Saudi Arabia and they're not terrorists? Okay. Well, they've got a lot of oil and they're going to need to sell it. America decided to push for the US dollar to be the global standard. And when they did this, I would even say now, we were the superpower. Okay. So basically, everybody was like, yeah, sounds good. You got the machines, you got the money, you got the paper, you got the ink, and you've got the muscle, whatever you say. All right. And this was a smart move on our part. This actually took our dollar and gave it some stability. It tied it to the massive amounts of hard assets, oil that's in the ground in Saudi Arabia and other places over there in the Middle East, in exchange for using the dollar as the worldwide currency. We are to provide, and we have been providing, our military. Okay, use the dollar. Economic control is in our hand. We got you back if you need if you have a little problem over there. And as you can see, we haven't stopped bothering people all over there, right? So Iran is getting tired of it. There's a lot of restrictions that has been put on Iran by the international community, and they've decided to leave the US dollar. Okay, let's take a look at this. Iran clamps down on dollar trading in fresh attempt to bolster IL. Iranian government has introduced new restrictions on the use of the US dollar by blocking imports priced in the currency, in what appears to be a fresh attempt to halt the slide in the value of its own currency, the rial. According to local media reports, as of February 28th, any purchase orders or any import documentation based on the US dollar will not be processed by customs officials. The move comes as a result of a directive from the Ministry of Industry, Mines, and Trade to the Central Bank of Iran. Now you're going to attempt to pronounce it, but MK, the central bank's director of foreign exchange rules and policies and affairs, was quoted by local news agencies as saying the new rules shall not cause too much disruption, given the limited share of the dollar in Iranian trade. U.S. sanctions mean that in most circumstances, banks cannot clear U.S. dollar transactions involving Iran. Considering that the use of the dollar is banned for Iran and traders are literally using alternative currencies in their transactions, there is no longer any reason to proceed with invoices that use the dollar as a base rate. Nonetheless, many traded goods are still usually priced in dollars, and the dollar remains the most important currency in international trade. So the new rules are bound to have some impact. So basically, Iran feels that they don't feel Iran is being sanctioned by the international community, and somebody wants to do business with them with the US dollar. It's prohibited. No problem, Iran says. Iran just says, we'll go with the euro. So they're in this transition as of started, I guess, like in late February, but it was pretty much started last month. Okay. And now it's taking effect and we're all hearing about it. I don't really think it's a bad move in Iran's part, right? I mean, it sucks for the people like the United States who are trying to impose economic sanctions on them, but it makes complete sense. So now, how do the United States feel about this? Well, their first reaction is that the MK here, the Central Bank's Director of Foreign Exchange Rules, Policies, and Affairs, is a terrorist. Yes, that is exactly what the United States in their fine intellect has decided to do here. Let's see if I can get you back. So Iran leaves the dollar for the euro. All right. Anyway, running too slow. I am going to I'm going to wrap this up. Good move for Iran. Not so good move for the international community. But what is interesting, just like Venezuela with the petro, countries using cryptocurrencies to get over some of the obstacles in their lives. There's options now, right? The petro said they'll give a 30% discount to anybody who uses the petro in purchasing fuel for them. So purchase a petro, purchasing oil for them. So you purchase the petro from the Venezuelan government, and then you use the petro to pay your oil bill, whatever you're buying, at a 30% discount. Now, Iran backing away from the US dollar. As more and more of these like rebel or rogue countries start to back away from needing the US dollar and moving into some kind of mutual agreement cryptocurrency. I mean, it just didn't happen. Didn't it happen just like a month ago too? China and Russia, they did some first transactions with cryptocurrency and not using the dollar for any kind of quoting method, any kind of accruing method, or any kind of balancing out method. Interesting. Can you see your day is done, Mr. Dollar, Mr. United States Dollar? Anyway, guys, thank you very much for hanging with me through this, my rambling ons. But there's been a lot been going on over the last couple of weeks. Just because I have been quiet does not mean the market has. We know the market does not sleep. It is 12:21 here, and we just passed into a new day on the East Coast. With that, I'm going to say goodbye and good night. I hope you have a great evening or a great day. Remember, educational advice only. And remember, I am Billp from BP3 Crypto on BP3TV. Ciao.